All right. Adrian, first
Yo,
episode.
first
First,
episode.
I guess Facebook Live. Glad to have you here. Maybe we
Yeah,
should
good to
introduce
be
ourselves.
here.
So I'm Jay Carter. I am the behind the scenes guy here at the Profitable Contractors Club or group, whichever one you're in. And this is my man Adrian. And Adrian, introduce yourself.
Adrian Park, and I don't know, what would I call myself?
Well, we'll soon find out. We'll soon find
The
out.
guy
So
helping out at Profitable Contractors Club.
right. So let's get real clear with our intentions today, and what our topic's going to be. Maybe I should turn on my camera,
Yeah, I was going to say,
huh?
yeah, you're going to be on
So
camera.
today we're going to discuss AI and what it's going to mean to the contracting
Yeah,
world and how it's going to affect contractors. I know a lot of what I've heard so far, and kind of seeing it from two sides. One being that I've embraced it and really owned it as a mindset, and that I know AI is here to stay and it's going to be a big part of our lives, whether we realize it or not. It has been for a long time.
yeah,
And I've also encountered the other mindset, which I feel is the one that I want to help the most. Is the I'm scared of it. It's technology. It's overwhelming to me. This is something that we're going to have to break,
yeah,
because the hard reality is, with AI and the tools that are available now, it's going to make business different. All right, we will not be doing
yeah,
business the same way, and especially contracting. Adrian, you probably know firsthand. Contractors in general are about 25 years behind in terms of technology and
yeah,
advancements. We see that kind of as a standard. I mean, that's not everybody, but this puts us at a great disadvantage.
yeah,
And that
does.
disadvantage is going to be, and we're going to start seeing that really come to a head, is even a small contractor now can take on certain AI technologies and essentially lower their overhead costs.
Yeah,
Be able to do things more efficiently and faster than a
yeah,
company that was unable to adapt. And what this is going to mean is, the guys that get this are really going to be able to amalgamate the markets. I mean, we're going to see a
yeah,
lot of contractors that were unable to adapt get taken out by companies that were. And I don't think there's ever been a period in time that I'm aware of in the contracting world where this was going to be so prevalent, because we've always
yeah,
depended on our skills and what we could do, technically and production wise. But think about it now as adding a new element to the contracting businesses. Hey, who can do it operationally more efficient,
yeah,
right? Who can land more customers quicker, right?
yeah,
Who can service their clients faster, right? And who's using really intelligent technology to not only guide their clients, but to really give them an experience that's unlike anything else anyone else is offering,
right,
right?
right.
So in understanding it first, I think if there was anything that I would have to add to this is really understanding, first of all, that this is an adapt or die situation. All right.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't know
not,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying adapt or die for the tradesman. Like, if you want to stay on the tools and you want to be a great craftsman,
Right,
this won't affect
right,
you. Okay.
right, right.
But what it'll mean is that the person that you're working for, they're going to, again, you think of things like Angie's List. You think of, all these, places you may be buying leads from currently. What do you think
Right,
they're going to do? They're going to move in and take that business from you, and you'll be working for them. I think
right.
that's really the reality of guys that still want to be independent contractors, and it's going to force a big divide, I think.
But I think, I mean, if you look at, so there are already models or versions of this happening, right? I mean, I don't think, I mean, no one that worked for me would ever imagine that they could be in a role like, say, like a task rabbit. But
Hmm.
I mean, that's really what we're talking about, where, even skilled people or contractors could be relegated to some, where they're almost like a task rabbit, where you, like an Angie or one of these large, large companies, or larger, I should say, companies,
Mm-hmm.
where they basically, set the prices, and, all of the opportunity that exists today, all of a sudden, poof, it's gone, right?
And we are going to see that. I mean, that's a guaranteed,
But I
unless
don't think
again,
people really get that. I don't think
no,
people, you know what I
no,
mean? Like, people aren't going, I don't think there's very many people out there that are like thinking that I could be a task rabbit,
right.
but you could be a task rabbit. Like, it's happening so fast. There's
That's
these
right.
guys that this podcast that probably the only one that I consistently listen to. And they're 4 tech guys, and they're super smart, and they're also kind of like real dudes,
Mm-hmm.
And just this last week, one of the guys made a point that, and these guys have been in tech like for the last 20 years, like they were around for Friendster and MySpace. So these are like OG tech guys, right? And one of the guys made the point that, like, things, like when we got the first Apple iPhone,
Right.
like we didn't get the App Store for what, 2 years?
Yep.
I mean, you just had the apps, and those were the apps you had. Now we just go to the App Store. It's like you don't even think about it, right? And they update automatically. But like when the iPhone came out, the first one, that was a huge technological improvement, and we didn't get the App Store for 2 years. Now these things are literally like day to day to day to week to week. I mean, things that took 15 years ago took a year or 2 years to do are now happening. Like literally, you wake up the next morning and there's a new improvement,
Right.
and it's substantial.
So
Like it's a big one.
And I think that's a bit of the risk here in understanding it, because like I have never personally witnessed something come out so new, and I say the word new with caution, for the simple reason that AI is not new, right?
Right.
It's not new.
Right.
Like what we're seeing is only the evolution of AI. So now it's become a language-based AI, and it's become commercially available. So anybody has access to this. But what I would need everyone to understand right away is that we've been living with AI for decades. Okay. It's been in our banking systems. I mean, the actual artificial intelligence was born or created in 1950. Okay. So this is not new. And if you look at the way that a technology has evolved and how AI has affected our lives to this point. So for a good example, do you think Facebook's algorithm, that's a deep learning AI? They know exactly, like that changed advertising. That changed the way that we, seen ads and the way that we were solicited. And it created a lot of problems as well. This is the next generation of that, is where it's now a tool where we can have it complete tasks for us. Okay. So I think that, it's important that we kind of summarize, first off, what the dangers are. And I think the dangers here are, it's really a do or die moment in every contractor's business, big or small. Everybody's kind of at the moment where we have to decide it, and we have to embrace it. Okay. Of course it's going to be uncomfortable. Of course it's going to be new. But the side effects of not doing that is meaning that you're going to give way to big box stores and, big conglomerates coming in and taking away most of the opportunity that exists, because they can move faster, and it's going to be about speed and convenience, right? So if you are using these technologies, or you're going up against a company that's using them, they're going to be able to just outperform you, with less people, less overhead, less everything. And I'm already seeing that in my own business with the tools that we're using, and how we've been able to adapt. And I mean, we're talking about something that's very, very new. I'm going to say under 6 months, really, that it's hit the place. So everyone's at the same starting point right now with this technology. No one has a really clear, quick advantage. Maybe Angie's List has a bit, but before we get too deep into, into what we can use it for practically, again, we want to just summarize on the mindset here. And the mindset is, we have to approach it with extreme curiosity and look at it as not a threat. Okay. Because it's not, it's going to improve the quality of your life. And by embracing it, you are giving yourself an advantage. Okay. So that's the mindset. We have to be unbelievably curious. Okay. And that involves learning for some guys. It involves changing, habits and stuff to get it incorporated, even if it's just doing a couple of simple things I'm going to talk to you guys today about, getting used to it, getting, starting to get your quick wins out of it, where you
Yes.
feel like, hey, you know what, this isn't so bad. And I really want to, I really want to emphasize on that, because I've seen, and we were talking with our team today, just the difference in the last 90 days. And we took a poll in our company, and in 90 days, the change in direction around AI, and that now that we're actually practically putting it into all of our workflows, all of our day-to-day tasks, and what my team's finding right now, and I can really attest to it, is that because they've embraced it, they're actually getting more done and they're happier. I mean, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like, we're getting more done.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. This is going to create huge companies. We're going to see an explosion of this, coming to the markets. And, I just want to kind of, bring up some of the practical things that you
Yeah.
will be seeing AI move into. And it's already, if it's not there yet, it's right on the verge of being there. And it's moving so fast at such an accelerated speed,
It's
that we're going to
insane.
see it. Again, we're not talking years, we're talking months.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the big ones that I see that it's going to be, a big part of is project planning and management, right? So identifying risks,
Yeah.
actually looking at and analyzing a site plans, and being able to, analyze, schedules, being able to give you actually intelligent advice on how to set up job sites, like that alone. I mean, just think about.
Well, just think about specs,
Right.
like think about like it being able to go through. I mean, you and I have probably read more spec
Oh,
books,
there's just
right?
books of them. Right.
And you miss, and it's, I mean, of course you could do searches and things like that with Control F or whatever, but you're still missing things, right?
Right.
You still have to comb through that, whatever that returns,
Right.
right? Go in the little tab on the side. This will not miss anything,
This will
right?
not, and again, you can ask it questions. So again,
Right.
guys,
And it
how
can
many
go
times do you
and
have to go
pull
into
out
those
the
specs?
text.
That's right.
Right.
You have to go into the text
Right.
and analyze what this means and what, like, I mean, again, just think of it from that perspective. Risk management. I mean, again, if you're running a big job, a commercial job, we all know that we have huge risks before we even get to that job site. And again, most of the problems usually begin with that, sales to production handoff.
That's right.
Having something that can, be a check or a balance in place there. And again, this stuff is here now. We're not waiting for this. Like,
Right.
we're using
Right.
a form of this right now. The
Right.
other place I'm going to see it is, quality control inspections. So, um, you know, being able to do augmented, reality, like already
Yeah.
these things exist on the job sites. One of the most practical things for us to use, and that we've used, is the drone technology. Drones can do a better job of spotting, issues with the roof. And this isn't new. We've
Yeah.
had this for 5
Right.
years,
Right.
right? And it's now advancing, advancing far beyond what I ever imagined, where it's actually doing a roof takeoff, right? And in other
It's awesome.
applications,
Yeah.
in building, where they actually are setting these cameras up and finding, issues with the project, it's just incredible. Safety is going to be a big one, right? So again,
Right.
imagine, we have the ability now, where cameras are everywhere on these job sites, violations, stuff like that, write-ups, all done through AI. Like, that's already here. Those are things that
Yeah.
exist today, right? Material optimization. I mean, I can't say enough about this. How many
Yeah.
times, like, how many times have we, made the mistakes that, when you're looking back on every job, it's like, man, how does this slip through the cracks? Already, when you start to use AI, it
Yeah.
is moving faster. It's, what would have taken you 2 hours to do, it's doing in seconds, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we're seeing that. Energy efficiency analysis. I mean, that's again, we're going to see the whole designs of buildings now changing and evolving because of the intelligence that's available, where it's
Yeah.
not just one builder, one architect,
Right.
one engineer. They were able to
Right.
tap a major source of information. And again, when it comes to building technology, you're going to see AI built right into it, like right into
Yeah.
the infrastructure. We're going to see it, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And I've already, witnessed, this stuff taking shape. I think for us, and again, I'll speak on behalf of the exterior workers, exterior contractors, weather forecasting, scheduling, right? Again, how for my roofers out there, and for my, my exterior contractors,
Yeah.
Again,
Right.
already, guys, I can show you this today.
Yeah, that's
The
crazy,
weather
man.
app, okay, that feeds into your CRM and is able to tell you on a on a scale and give you a chance of this job actually being scheduled for XYZ.
Right.
And when the
Right.
weather isn't favorable, it calls off the crews. Like it sends out the text message. Like just that
Well,
alone.
and think about the whole throughput for that,
Oh,
because when you're on if you're on a public job and you have liquidated damages, a lot of times you've got to note the days, like you have to have
right.
documented proof that there was a weather.
That's
And
right.
and so now with AI, so not only will do the front end, but it'll
Yep.
document it for you. So then you can hand that to the owner or the owner's rep and go, there's no liquidated damages here. Like
Right.
these days, we got these days, and this is, so we're not paying $1,000 a day or 50,000, whatever it is.
Well, even
I mean,
again,
for
it
the
like
huge.
just being able to calculate a schedule in terms of milestones and stuff that are hit, like this stuff is here now, guys. Like this is the
Yeah,
part that I, again, and think about it from, I want to kind of look at it from a couple of different eyes. I mean, there's a lot of you guys that are still on the tools wanting to move up. I could
yeah,
totally understand and relate to that. What I want you to really, again, kind of see the opportunity at, is by adding a couple of these things, okay? Just simple things, like optimizing your schedule, like optimizing your
yeah.
personal time and calendar with AI, okay? How much more free time would you have if your ambition is just to run a good healthy business, and you enjoy doing the trade? Like, you don't have to think big scale here, okay? This
Right,
is going to change everything from the simplest form. So again, if your schedule just automatically was able to generate itself based on the weather and what you had to put into it, okay, you're doing less brain power,
yeah,
less thinking, less time planning,
right,
less mistakes, less everything. Okay. So again, there's a good use case there for it. Now, as we move up, what we're going to see, and these things are already real. They're already happening. 3D modeling, visualizations. We know
yeah,
they're there. Like look at hover, for example, in our trade, or what I've witnessed at a couple of the trade shows is when they're doing BIM, or doing these building plans, they're able to be in their office. Okay, architects, engineers, they're already building these things, guys, and they can go through the whole building before it's even built. Right?
right,
They can adjust plans while you're on site based
right,
on information being fed back to this thing. And I mean, this is what's going to happen. And it's,
right.
as subcontractors, major, again, for ICI and major infrastructures, got like this will become such a big part of how we're working on site. And again, I can't, if we look at it this way, we've had a labor shortage for a very long time, right? Would planning and efficiencies and all these other things that we can add in, and just taking off the load of having to deal with scheduling and everything else, what do you think that would do for the overall labor shortage? What do you think? Like, do we need more people now? No, we need less, right? So it's
Yeah,
it's fighting back, and it's giving us, again, it's giving us an opportunity here to grow our businesses, right? The guys that really embrace it, get it in on time. Like, think of the guy that's not going to adapt. You're going to run him over, right?
right.
And especially when
Yeah,
we start getting into like customer relationship management, CRMs. This is another big thing. This is a passion of mine, and I can go on and on and on about this stuff, but like the automations and the AI that I have in my CRM, all right, in the last year, okay, so going through and lead scoring, going through and contacting clients, like all of
yeah,
it that used to require a manual person or a high ticket sales rep you're paying a full commission to, it's already
right,
being done now. It's having legitimate conversations. Like, this is stuff that I never thought, if you had told me a year and 2 years ago that this is what was going to be, I would have, there's no way I would have bought it, right? But it's here and it exists,
right,
and it's
right,
it's not the craziest part about this. When we look at the cost of it, okay, it's an eighth of what you would pay somebody's
yeah,
salary. So again, I run a pretty successful this year. We're going to be in the high seven figures, and I'll be the first one to say, listen, I have adapted to technology. It's been a big thing, a big part of who I am, and systems, and where it's led me is I spend 2 hours a week in my business, right? And my team Okay, the team size that I needed, and people are always shocked and amazed, like, how do you run a business that size
Right. With so
with
few
that
people.
many few people? You guys must be
Right.
going crazy. And I'm nope, nope. Like, if you really knew, because we're doing things faster and more
Yeah.
like more intelligent, using this technology, leaning on it. I mean, again, we've been using aerial views and all those things and automations for so long that it's natural to us. But I still see so many contractors are like, what's automation?
Yeah.
What are these things? And I get it. It's scary. It's tough. But again, think about it. If you were able to buy back your time, okay, and again, I'm going to give you some really practical things when we get to wrap up here. It's about
Yeah.
getting your time free. So like let's just make it simple here, because again, I know how easy it is for us all to get overwhelmed. But if you were to adapt just one thing today, right? If you were to leave here with one thing that you could do that's going to change your life, okay? Go download Motion. It's a app for your calendar, okay? And just put your tasks into it. All right? Just follow your calendar, let it plan your schedule, your day-to-day stuff out for you, and you will be amazed. Okay? And I know this firsthand. I have long lived by a calendar. I couldn't imagine a day without it. I literally, all I do is get up. Like, even this event, it's in my schedule. I know it's there. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't I focus on the things that are important, right? And if things are low value, they don't get in my calendar, right? And I know, Adrian, you're the same way. Like, listen,
Oh yeah.
I'm not doing administrative tasks. They're not in there, right? Because that's a $20 an hour job, right?
Right.
And I've earned my stripes. I don't work for $20 an hour for anybody, right? Including myself, right? So again, that be a lesson to everyone is thinking about these things now. Like, how often are contractors, getting into situations where they're doing the admin, they're doing what, and when you ask them, they're like, well, no one else knows how to do it. Well, okay. What if I were to tell you, like, you guys, you probably suck at it, first of all, and now here's
Right.
tools available that could write
Right.
you a contract faster
Right.
and more intelligently than you could ever imagine, right? It can analyze a quote, and it's going to be more accurate, more
Yeah.
efficient than you're ever going to be. Like, again, just think about that for a second. Like, is life easier or harder at that point? Right? What do we need to focus on even, right? So there is I guess a warning, which I'm finding out now, and it might be a little bit premature on this one, but one thing that I'm seeing a big change in is the clients, the customer. All right, so everybody's kind of adapted to technology in most markets. It's not as shocking. And what I'm seeing is, as the baby boomers kind of moved out and they're moving out of the major buying groups, we're being replaced more and more by millennials. Okay. And let me tell you something about millennials. I'm a late millennial. And the value system is totally different, right? The value
Yeah.
system that exists there is completely opposite, you know, and less human to human interaction. But that doesn't mean that this will replace all human interaction. What it's going to mean, though, is that you can serve the next generation of clients. And guys, it's happening now. If you don't open your eyes, you're not, like, it's right in front of you. The millennials, okay, they value speed and convenience. Okay, think
Yeah.
about that for a second. How many of you guys used to be able to get away with doing a quote in a week? Oh, we'll get to it in a week, right? I used to give, and not even that long ago, I used to give 7 days and then go in and close them after that,
Right.
knowing that it took about 7 days to make those decisions. Now we're seeing them within hours. Within hours, people are making decisions. Why? Because everyone's able to move faster, right?
Yeah.
So getting the quotes done, getting presentations done, following up, like all of these things, all these tasks, these small tasks can be taken off with AI if you embrace it, right? Now,
Right.
again, there's technology, and I don't, again, if you've never opened a computer, right, or you hardly use your email, now's the time to really find yourself someone that
Start.
yeah,
Start now.
yeah, but again, it's only
Don't
important that
wait.
you understand it, right? And then you get yourself attached with a company or a person that's going to help you adapt to it, right? Find yourself a millennial, maybe your kid, son, whoever, right? And have somebody that's going to actually spearhead and make sure that you're getting ready for this change, right? And that your
So
business is adapting.
yeah, what would you, I mean, Jay, like, what are like for the person that this is, this is like, this conversation is like the first time they've really thought about it, right? They haven't really, like, they're like, is this a thing? And then they're listening to you and me, and they're going, oh shit, this is a thing.
Right.
So what do you think are like what's the one or two things that, to get started? What do
Yeah.
where do
So
you, where do you start with?
right off the top of my head, the easiest single thing to do. Okay. And I'm not being paid by these guys or anything, but fire files. Okay. It is a tool that I use. It's a note taker. Okay. If I'm jumping on a Zoom call, if I've had a call with anyone, it totally just, it's an AI, it goes in and it takes all the notes from that meeting. Okay.
Awesome.
I used to have to remember back, like, again, if you're doing sales calls, anything like that, you've got salespeople. All right. It's got so much information in there that you can use to then write a proposal or to, and how many of you guys have been, you've done a whole bunch of quotes, you have a whole bunch of, and now you have to deal with your client and remember all that stuff. That's crazy. So one of the easiest things to implement that is my go-to, and I won't get into all the other cool things and bells and whistles that we can add to it, but just a note taker, right? Put it into your Zoom calls. We're all having Zoom calls now more often, site meetings, stuff like that. Have your team use them. Why? Because it saved me so much. I just asked the AI, hey, what was said in this meeting? Did XYZ say this? It's right there, right? Also keeps records of everything. So you were talking about, liabilities and stuff like that. Like, I have saved so many arguments and fights and misunderstandings by being able to pull that information at will. And again, it's centralized, it's pulling it into a big database where we can know, exactly what's going on. Again, accountability, it's been great, and it's simple to use. I mean, again, it's as simple as it gets. The other one that I would strongly urge everyone to consider, and it's the easiest thing, if first learn how to use your Google Calendar. If you haven't got there, baby steps. Okay. But if you're not planning your days out and really thinking about your time, okay, well, we have no business having this conversation to begin with, right? You need to get control of your time first as a contractor. That's rule number one. I'm sure one day I'll create all the rules, or if they haven't been created already, but rule one is control your time. You can't control anything else if you can't control your time, right? So again, if you want to go one step to that motion, which, I use, it's pretty simple. I mean, it goes right on to your Google calendars, and it just allows you or your assistants or whoever put tasks in there, and it's going to organize them and put things in, so you're getting reminders of those little things you've got to do, right? And I mean, I hate to tell you just how reliant I am on them. Everything, like weekends, you name it, it's all in there. And again, things change quickly, and one of the problems with calendars is then you have to change your calendar, right? In this case, I don't. I just put in the task, it finds a spot, it gets done. Right. So again, a really simple system for contractors to take advantage of right now. All right. Is, again, in the theme of things, is getting control of their time. And this doesn't require hiring a, $40,000 a year assistant to organize your life. You can do this with an app. Very simple, very easy, and you will see dramatic improvements in all areas of your business, just because now you can focus on those high level tasks. And again, it's going to learn your patterns. It's going to learn, if you're not getting certain amount of tasks done, it takes tasks away, right? Like, so it slips them back in another day. So nothing's getting missed, which again, I find incredibly valuable. And
I mean, just think about that one thing, Jay.
Right.
Like how many, just how many times have you, or I've done it, where you have something scheduled for a day and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't get that done. So you move it the next day, and it's not like a top critical task. It's like, it's important, but it's not like burning. Right. And you move it like 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
And you just
and then it gets forgot,
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get tired of it. You forget about it. And someone asks you about it. Like, oh crap, I forgot about that thing.
Right. And again, how many of us can afford to have, somebody that's going to do our schedule for us? I mean, I would still say that you would have a positive ROI if you were to hire an admin that did those things on a daily basis. I'm a firm believer, and again, this is something that I've lived and done for a very long period of time, is that I don't make my own schedule. Again, like I said, I can. That is a very low level task of just creating the schedule, right? And I know that I only fill my schedule with things that are going to be, high level tasks, right? I don't want to be doing, stuff that's outside my pay range, right? And neither should any
Yeah.
contractor that wants to be, successful. And believe me, guys, even if you're a single guy working on the tools right now, okay, you stand to benefit from this, and I assure you that. Okay.
Yeah.
The second thing that you stand to benefit from here is if you get any sort of motion behind you, any sort of, team or anything else, or if you already have a team, it's so contagious. Okay, that your team
Yeah.
adapts to it. They want to, like, of course, they
Good
want to work
point.
more efficiently,
Yeah.
and because you're the leader of the band and you're taking it on, and again, think about it, this is something to embrace. Your team's going to be excited about it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey, you know what, I don't understand it, I don't get it, I don't, we maybe watch too many Terminator movies, but again, it's the opportunity like I've never, this is the single biggest opportunity I've ever seen in my career. I'm embracing it, I'm loving it. We've been slightly ahead of most contractors in how we've
Yeah.
used automations, and this is just the next level of that.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like in the long term, no one's going to remember back to this time. Everyone will just have it in their life, and it'll be like the iPhone, where just again, it just improved our lives and it made our lives better. But at the moment, again, there's a huge I guess an advantage here is that the quicker you
Yeah.
get it embraced and start to see the benefits of it and start to get momentum using it, I mean, the first of all, you're protecting yourself, because remember, speed and convenience is what's going to rule. And the second thing is, it's going to make your life easier. It's going to give you more time, more freedom. So again, here's lots of different ways. I prefer to take the mindset of we're in an abundant world, right?
Yes.
There's never been so much more opportunity I've ever seen. Like you
Yeah.
look around us, right? It's just it's everywhere, right? And for contractors that see this as the opportunity it may be the biggest opportunity of the generation, right? And again, I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
I've paid my dues and
Yeah.
done things, over 20 years as a contractor. I have yet to see anything that's made my business work so efficiently as what we're starting to see come out. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, man. You're spot on
Cool.
with that.
So I feel like
Yeah.
I just I went on a rant there, but
You did go on a rant. It's good though. It's good. I
you can
mean,
see I'm passionate about this stuff. So again, just kind of any final thoughts that we can share with our audience.
yeah, I think I didn't. So I mean, I feel like I've been fairly ambitious in adopting, and yet I didn't even know about that fire file.
Yeah.
So like I've been, so for folks out there, they're like, you can't even get your mind around that. I mean, look, set up a ChatGPT account on OpenAI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just start talking to the AI. I mean, I was looking at, I was showing my partner the other day, how I was writing something. So I was trying to get something for a document.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally said something like, I wrote back to the AI. I was like, I want this to be a little more familiar, and I just spoke to it like I would talk to you.
Yep.
Or like anybody else. And it gets it.
It does get it. Well,
it's crazy, but
that's right.
it understands.
That's right.
So
well, and again,
you can just have a conversation, and get kind of familiar with it,
absolutely.
I mean, it's mind blowing, but it's like, this is real.
Right. So here's, again, another really easy hack. Again, a lot of what will come down with the AI is the way you prompt it, the way you ask it for things, right? So for you guys out there that are doing your own Facebook posts or any Instagram posts, as simple as easy as one, go to ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Type in your topics. It's going to give you out all your keywords, like any hooks, anything like that. And just, again, they can, just that alone, how much time are you saving, right? It can edit your photos, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, we're going to see more and more of these tools coming out, and they're like, it's incredible. Every day it seems like there's this next major thing coming, which is exciting. I mean, in our CRMs and our project management system is all AI now, which is crazy. Like,
Awesome.
I don't even write an email anymore without AI. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a little bit, I'm
Well,
probably
you're out
biased.
front for sure.
Right.
Yeah, you're way
Yeah,
out front. But people need, men and women need this. They need someone
absolutely.
who's out there in front, is willing to take the risk, to implement these things and train yourself, train your team. This is,
Mhm.
this is how stuff gets done.
Well, and that's going to be a lot about what this group is about, is giving you practical ways to use this stuff, right? It's not something we should fear. And again, you have a
Yeah,
responsibility
no.
to your business. Don't let your businesses get ran out by big box stores and all of these Angie's List and everybody else that seems to again, what they have the technology advantage. It's
Yeah.
a level playing field now as far as I can see it, right? So again, contractors are going to benefit from this. It's just a matter of when. Okay, your life is going to benefit from it, just a matter of when. So my again, and I'm going to be wildly completely transparent and be clear about my intentions with all of this. My mission here is to bring it to the contractors, to bring it to guys that are just starting out, or to bring it to guys that are mid-size. Get them
Yeah.
to actually see the benefits of using these things, and really to fight back against these other big companies that are threatening to take away livelihoods, right? And again, it doesn't have to be a scary transition either. There's just it saves so much time, so much energy, and if you embrace it, I mean, you're going to be the one that wins, right?
Yeah. I mean, it seems, for you and I, it's like this makes all the sense in the world, but
Right.
I can also, but I'll say this, I can also, there are elements of this because things are moving so fast, I feel like I don't think I'm as early as you, but I'm an early adopter. And
Mm-hmm.
even like, there's certain things I want to do. And I'm like, man, it goes so fast. And
Exactly.
that's why I was saying, like, just, if you're intimidated by fire files and the stuff that Jay's talking about, like, open up. It's free to set up an account with OpenAI. It doesn't
Right.
cost anything. You can pay for some preferred, and I'm paying for that, and it's cheap. It's $20 a month, but
Mm-hmm.
but you can get. For me personally, I've been using it to build Excel formulas because I
Yep.
don't know. I'm a very, very basic. I'm not going to use the. I'm very basic when it comes to Excel, but I am now like. You wouldn't know that I'm not an Excel ninja because it does these complex formulas and tells me how to enter them.
Yeah,
Like
it's
yesterday, I was putting
incredible.
one in, and
Yeah.
it was like when you enter it, press Control, Shift, and Enter, so that
Right.
it puts brackets around it, so it executes it. I was
Yep.
like, I never would have known that. I would have been hitting
Right.
Enter the whole time.
And again,
So,
here's just so many like amazing examples. So like one of the things that we're going to do, now and moving forward is I'm going to be, now that we kind of got the big picture view out, and kind of giving people a chance to kind of look at what's possible, in our next calls, and in as we share more into the group, I'm going to give you guys really like practical, easy things that we can implement as they
yeah,
come up, things that I already tested and tried and that I know are changing the way that I'm doing business and my life, right? I'll be honest with you. It's already changing my life and my behavior, which is
well, and people don't. Sorry, go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry, I didn't
no,
interrupt you. I
no,
was
no,
just
it's
saying
all good.
people don't know because they don't see you, like they just see you like here, with what I mean, on the screen, and they don't know that like you are like testing, trying, testing.
Mhm.
You're behind the scenes, like you're working on the stuff yourself. You've got your teams on it. And, like this is a mission. It's not just like you're just playing with this, but
Right.
this is a mission for you to like understand it, understand the applications, implement it in your own business, like be one of the first to do it,
Hmm.
and then show others, like specifically show contractors, like practical ways to do this and win.
That's right. That's it. You've got it right there. That is exactly my mission, is to bring this practically, right? Now, I mean, guys, we all know how much information's out there. I mean, I'm more information too, right? We need to come to the point where we realize that information, we're in that age, right? There's never been more free. We can create it. Like there's AI to create it.
Yeah.
So my suggestion and my recommendation here is don't get caught up in information. Okay. Information without context is useless.
Yeah,
Okay.
completely.
So
Yeah.
again, make sure you're following the right sources. And again, I'm going to do my very best to be the right source for you to come to use practical AI applications for contractors. I mean, that's what we've set out to do. That's what we intend to do. And I'm going to be showing you more as the weeks go on, and just kind of how we use it, how we adapt to it, and how it's making our businesses faster, more efficient, how it's, giving us more time and freedom, right? And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
100.
listen, I want to say I appreciate you jumping on this call with me, and I know we're going to have many
Yeah.
more. So for our first one, thanks a lot, and
Boom.
looking forward to our next calls. Bye, guys.
Let's do it. See everybody.